Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Shane Beamer and the South Carolina Gamecocks continue to get it done on the 2024 recruiting trail in the state of South Carolina. And what we're about to talk about, I think, is not only a shift in the South Carolina-Clemson rivalry, but a shift in the South Carolina program when it comes to closing the gap in the SEC. Because you're starting to see South Carolina not only make it in a lot of top 10s, a lot of top 5s, a lot of 5-star, top 100 dudes come to campus, but they're starting to recruit their own backyard extremely well. A very exciting time to be a South Carolina Gamecock fan. Now, before we get into it, just want to say thank you to you guys. All the support you guys have shown truly does mean a lot. So if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. That helps the fellas out a lot. And South Carolina Gamecock fans, spring game, 7 o'clock Saturday night. We'll be recapping that after that game goes final. Talk about some off-season things that we want to happen. So, again, if you do enjoy it, lock in for that as well. Let's talk a little Josiah Thompson, though. Number 2 offensive tackle, according to 24/7 Sports, a top 60 player nationally from the state of South Carolina. And this is exciting for a couple different things. One, on the offensive line, this was something that I thought South Carolina really needs to improve on. When I remember watching Spencer Rattler, Georgia State. I remember Georgia State taking it to South Carolina up front. Like, they could not protect Spencer Rattler against a team like Georgia State. And I had some serious question marks about what would this look like when they start playing in the SEC. Now, I think that offensive line got meaningfully better throughout the year, but you're seeing Shane Beamer take a look at that offensive line and say, we got to get some more talent and some more bodies on that offensive line. And they've been hammering the offensive line in the 2024 class. And Josiah Thompson, he is certainly a guy to be very excited about. Now, you take a look at the frame there, 6'6", 280. He's going to fill out the frame. Like, he's probably going to play football at 310, 315 pounds for South Carolina. Normally, those guys kind of put on that weight into the senior year once they enroll early in college. But, man, he's a phenomenal athlete. That's the real thing. When you watch him on the film, work up to second-level defenders. In pass protection, he's phenomenal. He has those feet. And quite frankly, when I'm looking at offensive line recruits out of high school, I want the athletes, because you can put weight on them. You can put the play strength on them. You can put the weight on them once they get enrolled in the program. You can't really teach the athleticism. And that's why you're seeing Josiah Thompson come in as a top 100 dude nationally, one of the best tackles in this class, because he's a phenomenal athlete. Now, more importantly, though, I really do want to talk about what we're seeing in terms of a shift in recruiting the state of South Carolina. Going back just 2 years ago in that 2022 class, we're going to pull it up here, Clemson dominates. I mean, you see that the 4 of the top 5 guys are going to Clemson from the state of South Carolina. And this is a very talented state in terms of high school football, right? You see on the screen 3 guys in the top 100, another 2 guys in the top 150. South Carolina, in a lot of ways, had a stranglehold when South Carolina kind of went through some tough days, and Clemson really jumped on them. Now, you take a look at this 2024 and how the narrative has really switched in terms of recruiting the state of South Carolina. The top 4 guys in the state of South Carolina, 3 of them already committed now: Cam Pringle, Mazeo Bennett, and now Josiah Thompson. And then your crystal ball to land the next guy in Kelvin Hunter as well. This is a massive swing, not only in terms of the rivalry of South Carolina-Clemson, it certainly is, but in terms of closing the gap and making strides in the SEC play. That's what you really want to see South Carolina be able to do, is recruit their backyard. Those best players from the state of South Carolina grow up dreaming of playing for the South Carolina Gamecocks and then going there after their high school football days. You see that with LSU. That's kind of been their blueprint of how they've built that program. A lot of talented kids from the state of Louisiana. LSU's landing 8 of the top 10 dudes from that state almost every single year. And a lot of those guys are top 100, top 150 dudes nationally. You're starting to see South Carolina making that happen. And you look at the on-the-field play, the last couple of years, especially in 2021, I don't know if that South Carolina team had any business going 7-6 and beating UNC in the bowl game. The talent wasn't really there. But what you're seeing is guys really buy into this culture and program that Shane Beamer is making. And you're seeing some guys fall off. And the narrative in January was, what? Shane Beamer kind of losing control of the locker room because a guy like Marshawn Lloyd transfers to USC. What he said in the press conference is, when you're taking the wagon up the mountain, like, some people are going to fall off. And the culture and the type of program Coach Beamer is fostering at South Carolina, it's different. And if you are not 100% bought in, it might probably not the program for you. What you're seeing, though, is the guys who decide to stay. And my point is, the guys who decide to stay play football for Coach Beamer, he's getting their absolute best. Because again, the last 2 years, from a talent standpoint, probably didn't have much business being as good as they did. Now, once you get the talent into this program, that's when I think something could really, really be special. And we're going to take a look at what South Carolina is doing in this 2024 class, and it is really lined up with what Coach Beamer wants to do. Really establish that line of scrimmage, recruit guys on the offense and defensive line, right? Cam Pringle already coming in, one of the best tackles in the class. You added Josiah Thompson, who they haven't updated on the 2024 commits. You get a guy like Blake Franks, another offensive tackle who's a big, big dude coming from the state of South Carolina. The talent is starting to come to South Carolina, and that's what makes you so excited if you're a Gamecocks fan, because the play's already been good. And when the play continues to get better and you have a guy like Spencer Rattler as kind of like leading this program into 2023, that's when you're getting really excited about what the future of the South Carolina Gamecock program could be. And again, so much success on the recruiting trail. I'm hearing they're going to have some big-time commits coming in on campus for the spring game as well, so we will talk about that a little bit as well. But again, wanted to keep this one short. But Josiah Thompson, I feel like we haven't really emphasized enough how good of a prospect he is, right? A top 100 dude nationally, one of the best offensive tackles in this class. A lot of emphasis I put on it was he's from the state of South Carolina. But this is a massive get for Coach Beamer. And you're really starting to see the talent, especially on the offensive line, come to South Carolina. Extremely excited about where this program is going. And again, if you guys do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Spring game, 7 o'clock Eastern time. Lock in for that. We'll be recapping that because, again, I don't have much allegiance to South Carolina growing up in Rochester, New York, but I do follow their social media team, and they do a phenomenal job getting me just excited to follow that program. Obviously, the clip, I'm sure y'all saw it, with Shane Beamer doing the little office routine. Just a phenomenal job, a very fun program to talk about. So, again, appreciate all the South Carolina fans checking this out. And if you do enjoy it, consider subscribing to the channel. We'll talk to y'all later.